Silence the door.
Here we go. You're up, boss. Should we, Sandra?
Wow,
We're
we're just waiting on Sandra.
Give us just a second.
Agenda's right there, in the middle.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Alright.
They must have been ready for this now. Must have left them right here. They are right here.
Do I have to go pull her in here?
I don't know where she is. Glenn, you want me to sign in?
Who?
Making out.
Gone, but
And crossmakers. It's probably with my glasses. Wow.
Try to come forward.
Right?
how are you this fine, Lucas?
Oh. Actually.
I read my little too long.
Yes.
We used to be.
No kidding. All right, we ready?
We're live.
We're live, okay. We'll call this meeting of the Buckfield Select Board to order for July 18, 2023 at 6:33 PM, and we do have a quorum. We just had a very good public meeting on the community day events, and they are going to be having an emergency meeting tomorrow night at 5:30 at the library. For those interested, it's great.
It's open to everyone, volunteers, community members. You don't have to be part of a committee to be at the meeting.
All right. Old business, prioritize town cemetery suggestions and recommendations from Viv. We sent that out. It was fantastic. Just been looking for a little direction from us.
That's what I did, Laura. So, but like,
So I can't reach for one.
I did have a question on number 2, section B. What just from memory, when I was in high school and middle school, Gretchen Kimball directed us on like a volunteer community day to go replace retrieve old flags and replace them at all the cemeteries, even the ones like way out in the woods. Is that not happening anymore? Do you know, or you're just unsure?
No, as far as I know, it did happen, or I think Cameron and whatever staff did a great job getting it done
Oh, okay.
for this year.
Mhm.
But
But it wasn't the school that did it? It was,
some of the flags, I believe the Legion and DFW had, then Cameron had ordered a mess of flags,
okay.
and then. I don't know who contacted the school, if that was the town manager or not, but because we do have a community events committee,
Mhm.
it would just be one more thing, I think, that taken off the town manager's plate.
Yeah, yes.
Still working with the school, still working with the Legion and the VFW. But just doing the organizing around it and making Memorial Day ceremony, special. I mean, yeah, I think we're just still all recovering from COVID. You know, lack of COVID and.
Yeah,
Did that answer your question?
yeah, I just, I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds great.
Yes,
to answer today's question, yeah, they're still doing it at the school. The school contacted us. All I really had to do was order up new flags, and then the school coordinated with me to pick them up.
oh, great.
The American Legion had requested last year, I think I brought it to the board, if the town could get the handful of, I think it's like 35, 38 flags hung up on the telephone poles before Memorial Day. We did that with the per diem firefighter. I helped him. We went on, did it. Took us like 30 minutes.
Great.
Awesome.
If anybody else wants to volunteer to put them on
Or take them down.
or take them down. I can even look at the agenda because it has the totals.
Okay,
Yeah, great.
I lost my place here. There we go.
Yes, my other question was in regards to number 6. I was wondering who the sexton is. Did we know that?
The sexton is Mr. Greg.
Mr. Greg, okay.
Over in Sonia.
Okay, great.
Man. I assume that the cemeteries are then, the cemeteries, the condition cemetery is assessed by Mr. Bragg, or he gets back to us, no one.
All Mr. Bragg does is basically dig the hole, fill the hole.
Gotcha.
Public Works monitors the grounds.
Oh, they do.
If the roads get washed out, if the roads need more material, it's typically, old will come to me and let me know.
Or like a fence comes down, tree goes over, leaking water faucets, that kind of thing,
Yeah,
but
are they generally maintained though? I mean, how many are
Depends on.
How many cemeteries?
Yeah.
Don't get me started.
there? I'm sure 20 something.
There's a lot of cemeteries with like three,
Yeah.
4 grades,
Small.
old family cemetery, but. I mean, obviously the big one is. Buckfield Damon,
Yeah.
which we did identify a couple of faucets that the cast iron is cracked. Weldon has put material into some of those roads. Yeah,
That's thoughts on that.
well, I mean, there's still the whole Damon Cemetery and how the town acquired it and going to the attorney and having it blessed off by the AG, but that'll take place when the library trust is resolved. But from the conversations that former town manager John Andrews had with the AG, it doesn't seem like it's going to be, I mean, it's just a matter of getting them to bless it off and say. Yeah, you're good to go.
It looks like several other of these are in the works, like the core lots and all that. We working on that already.
what'd you say, Bob?
Will you come closer? Yeah, you can come right up here.
No, but it's not just me. Tina didn't hear you either.
Sorry, I knew we were working on the, the lot divisions and all that. I was
Yeah,
making sure that was progressing.
that number you're looking at, what number are you looking at?
That's number 7.
Thank you. Oh, yeah. Well, see. So there's the old part of Buckfield Damon, then Buckfield Damon was extended,
Uh-huh.
okay? There are still empty 5x5, we think, still empty. Cause there's maybe questions about the records, we're not completely sure that there are still 5x5s in the old section. So if you kind of prioritize that to finish filling the old section before you start putting 5x5s anywhere you want in the extended section. There should be some type of decision made about that so that it doesn't become as confusing as it is.
Okay. Yes.
Penny.
Oh, yes, Penny, sorry.
I don't know, I've got quite a few of them over there, and it's always been, where did we wanna be? Not being told. This is your choice.
Were you given the option of?
I was given the option of, here's the map,
Mhm,
go pick out where you wanna be and come back and tell me.
mhm.
That's how it was.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that's been kind of the case since the extension. So what where Penny's talking about is that new section, the newer section, not the older section. And then in the history of the Buckfield Damon Association records, there were times when it was decided we're not gonna sell quarter lots until these lots are sold. So there's a prior history of being selective and or prioritizing lots sold. It's up to the board to decide how you want that to go, but the office staff needs to know, and people need to know when they come in, what are our choices? And do you want it to just be whatever you want? Do you want to prioritize it? As long as whoever's keeping the records and the sexton understands that process, because otherwise it gets very confusing.
Yes, Glenn?
I would say that the best way to incentivize selling the lots you want to sell is to make them hit the price. So if a lot in the old cemetery is $50 cheaper, I may choose to save some money instead of going to do, but forcing someone to go somewhere different in the cemetery that they want to, I think it's impractical.
And then another option to it is under the general assistance clause, and you might remember this from the conversation in the policy in terms of pricing. In the event that someone applies to be buried and or cremated upon their death in town. If I remember correctly, it's a 5x5 lot that town would do. And in that case, I don't know that it would matter if you could use the old section for general assistance versus the new section for general assistance. I don't know. I don't know how that, if that would matter. They do have the right to choose burial or cremation, they don't have the right to choose space. In general assistance, the way I understand.
Couldn't get a casket in the 5x5 though. Casket's bigger than 5 feet.
Yeah, and we had that conversation during the hall, so.
Yeah.
General assistance, regular burial for maximum of the sheets.
Right.
It's not a funeral, it's just a burial.
I understand that. You ain't gonna be able to buy a casket in. They put the ground, what they have, wow.
Yeah, I just looked at it and I don't know.
Hand me that.
Wow.
I know this if you're in the general assistance book, Cameron, it's section 6.9 burial cremation, page 73 through 76. If that's how. And then appendix 14 is the price sheet.
Appendix 14, they're all numbered, drug letters, not numbers.
I mean, appendix H,
Oh.
page 101, page 102 is the price.
Yes, Tina?
So, this is, just another food for thought, right? Is that a discriminatory practice if you're gonna be, put the people with general assistance out of the whole pot that no one wants to select? Would that be considered? That, I don't know, just a,
Right,
something to think about. I agree. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I don't think it's a. If I don't have the money to pay for something, then. Quick, I am dead, but my family, I hope my family comes to the flowers, okay. I would hope that I'm not back out here with the 1800s people, section of them. You know what I'm saying? I hear you. It's just, I'm saying, the little ad hoc committee wasn't gonna make a decision, that's what we're trying to present. All the information, so the board can be as informed. Right. I like the produce the prize that's on the selected option versus the.
There's an amount.
Right.
Amount.
Right.
It's okay.
Right, and there's a process, like, the way I understood the GA thing, you have to contact. Well, it's grandparents, parents, and somebody else, but not siblings, siblings aren't included on who you have to contract. I only read stuff. So. I'm just,
yeah, so the maximum amount for a burial is $1,475. Cremation is $1,025.
yeah,
And yeah, you're not,
And that had nothing to do with where they
no,
were going.
No, there's
Just
nothing-
The funeral parlor said,
process stuff, yeah, there's nothing that I saw in the law
a
that
lot,
says. That they have the right to choose where they go, just like in New York City, they have what they call. I think it's the paupers burial ground, it's out on some island or something.
yeah, but if you're getting cremated, you're not getting buried anywhere, not for that age.
so it says here, a lot in the least expensive section of the cemetery.
Yeah. And then the town will be reimbursed, is it 50% PM, 70%?
75 now, or let's say,
70,
yeah, that's what I thought.
so that's
Then the town, would buy their 1,000, whatever, versus 75.
Yeah.
70%. But I think Mr. Gregg charges, I mean, that's just for that, Mr. Gregg charges 600. To just dig the hole and close the hole.
Yeah.
And that's not covered by general, here, but it's just. I mean,
Yeah,
just giving you the information. Yeah.
so it sounds like based on this information you've given us here, which is really good.
Very thorough.
Yeah, is we need to come up with a. You know. Is policy the right word for? Something we can vote on to make this all happen.
I mean, you already,
Most of it, yeah, most of it we have, but
you already have, what, 7, 8 page rules and regulations
Yeah.
document. You'd probably just amend that with whatever you want to add in from any of that.
yeah, so if we add some amendments in there, like, for instance, finding the property owners around the outside, that's probably good information to have. What else did I see?
I think getting some of the process, solidified so
Yeah.
that. The sexton, the town manager, town treasurer, and the office staff. Completely know the process. And that it may even be like in a SOP type book.
Yeah,
So that in the event one of those links drop out, somebody fills in, they will know how to do it.
Yeah.
That's one thing. In terms of there may or may not be. Like 4A, determine who is responsible for care and maintenance of each cemetery and the process through which any work needed will be paid for. And that question came up because there are so many cemeteries. The town manages. Lowell Cemetery Association. Funds but we don't own that cemetery. There are cemeteries on private property that have easements to them. And whether or not the town is responsible for that maintenance or the private property owner, we didn't get that far, but that's where this particular question came from. And then, of course, there's the financial aspects of it, because there is a cemetery reserve and there is trust funds, which, as you noted on the first page, we tried to say, even though we listed those three questions, we understand it's across the convo. And that we're waiting on the library stuff or whatever, but you know. And then how did that get tracked in the records? You know,
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense, yes,
So there's a lot of work to be done here.
yeah,
The question would be, who's going to do it and when's it going to get done by? I don't know if the cemetery committee is still up and running, or if, well, because there's just a lot of work here. If we have another committee that could take on some of this, or if people on this board want to take specific pieces. I'm sure this is all information that the staff wants to have, but I know that there are a number of priorities going on right now, and
right,
the staff does not have the time
right,
to answer all of these questions right now, or to do the research needed. So,
at the, you might see that the ad hoc committee is Lillian, Linda, Deidre, and myself, and that did happen. This came from all four of us, not just me, and Lillian on 2A, locate all veteran grave sites. Lillian has a list, but she doesn't know if it's updated. And as you know, prior to years or so, some of the records have either disappeared or for the record keeping fell through the crack. I don't know, but it needs to be updated, and she has some type of digital list, I think, if that's the correct term, that she would be willing, specifically said she'd be willing to, work on. I could ask the three of them what they would like, if they want to continue this or not. I think the budget committee is, I'm looking at 4B, where it says working collaboratively with the board, budget committee, identifying those town policies that directly relate to the cemeteries, like even tomorrow, there's a budget committee meeting, I will be there. I could, under other business, simply ask, hey, are you interested? In helping us, like, identify this. Where, if you're working on investment policies anyway, I'm gonna take it at least. Approach the subject. With them, because I will be at that meeting. If you, and then. I think right now, on number 3. Which is assessing the current conditions, and I put possibly the road committee or the public works foreman, because I think, and this is an I think. This is July, we got August, September, October, and I think the road committee will be going out to do an assessment of the roads before the snow falls, so that they can get their recommendations for the budget. So while they're out traveling the roads, couldn't they stop at some of these cemeteries, give them a once over? And do it at the same time? That's why that got put there. It was just an idea, maybe board could ask the town manager to ask the road committee, or you could ask the road committee to have a meeting to, or send them an email along those lines or something?
Probably if it was on, oh, yeah, go ahead.
Certainly, we could send that email. I didn't know if perhaps you could take this to the cemetery committee and go through and determine which items the cemetery committee feels that they can handle and which things they can't.
Okay, if I hear you correctly, take this list back to the ad hoc committee. Which ones are we willing to continue to work on and which ones we're not?
Correct.
And the only one that I know for a fact was the one on 2A that Lillian did say she would continue with that race. I will do T, and then I will ask Deidre and I will do 4B tomorrow night. Lillian already said 2A. And I will contact Linda and Dee and see if they still want in. And what they're willing to do, and maybe send an email to Bob, the chair, who can do whatever with it. So that there'll be follow-up at the next meeting.
Yeah, that's was my mission here, is keep this going,
Yeah,
so that,
would that work?
yeah.
Am I clear? I just, because I have to go re-communicate it today. Just want to make sure I'm clear.
That sounds correct to me,
Okay,
yes.
okay. That's good. And in the meantime, the board or somebody's gonna contact the road committee, right? With an email or something to ask if they'll do those assessments when they assess the roads.
You're the road guy.
I'm the road guy,
You're the road guy.
looks like it's me,
You're so,
I'm
He's the
there,
liaison.
yeah,
oh, okay.
so I
Right.
can ask, I'm sure if it's on their radar, they'll be willing to do it.
So you're agreeing to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Send an email.
That's number 3. What's number 3? Assess the current conditions of each cemetery.
Why doesn't the lawnmower guy do it?
Cause his job, he's contracted to mow grass, not assessment.
Yeah, they do. There's 20-something cemeteries in there and they don't mow them.
So
He went,
Yes, Sandra?
Well, this is good. If. Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
perhaps the cemetery committee could make a checklist to give to the members of the road committee to just fill out, is there fencing, does it need repair, are there water hydrants, you have all these questions here, and I would hate to send somebody out and then have them come back and realize that they did not gather the information that they needed to gather, so
I think
we,
I mean, I will.
even a blind squirrel.
I like it, yeah,
Suggest that,
And then anybody could add to that, and they this section for notes, but this way we could give it to them to say, could you gather this information?
and what is number 8? Blue Land does have the general list of information that Sumner has on their sign. And we thought because the Economic Development Committee had worked on getting the welcome to the Buckfield signs, they had worked on the kiosk signs. Could they, because they purchased signs and gone through that process, as long as we had the actual list of content and provided that to that committee, could you ask the committee if they would be willing to do that work to order the sign and or bring to the board a proposal of what the sign would look like, or that process? It's number 8. Buckfield data center.
So can we put that in the notes to, because Mike is the liaison. For the, do I have the right?
I it was attached to your agenda.
Right.
Yeah.
For the Economic Development Committee, so, when Mike gets the minutes to this, we can ask him to get in touch with the Economic Development Committee.
When he gets the minutes.
I was gonna say, normally discussion, I don't put in the minutes, so we're
Yeah, but
gonna make a note of what I'm supposed to tell
Right.
Mike.
Oh, okay.
He's not at the meeting tonight.
Okay. I just didn't know if we had to wait 2 weeks to get a hold of Mike until he had the approved minutes, because they usually don't go up until they're approved. So
I still get a copy of what happened beforehand.
they do,
Review.
Yeah, we'll talk to him for sure. I mean,
okay,
yeah. That's a pretty good work list.
thank you.
Thank you. This is wonderful.
So do we want Lillian to send over that list to directly to Mike? Of the general rules, do's and don'ts that she has from Sumner?
I think we want,
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
send that to,
Have Lillian send those rules over to Mike so that he
Okay.
can forward that to the Economic Development Committee.
okay,
And then we're asking them to put together a proposed sign and
Yep.
get them ordered. Do we want them to go ahead and order it and spend the money without anybody reviewing this sign?
no,
Right.
I would at least prove it.
Yeah, no, once they have the, finished product, they can bring it to us or.
Mr. Piper is the only one of them, right?
Yes, Dick?
Sounds like the price of the sign would be in my.
All right.
And one thing that really disturbs me about all this. And I don't listen to the rumor mill. And I don't like what I hear. You know, I'll tell you how I am, okay? I believe this is a community and people ought to do. We're in the process of donating over 100 acres to everybody. And you know, that makes me feel good while I'm alive. Well, there's other people that want to be buried next to each other, and they were told they're gone. Or it's insinuated. Are we a community of compassion, or we don't give a shit about anybody? Because now that couple wants to be buried next to each other, and they're gonna put someone, because they're on a frigging committee in between them, of this law or that law. And that is, you're not a community if you don't want to do that. And they wanna enjoy the last of life, knowing they're gonna be next to each other. It's like my wife and I'm gonna be buried with the Indians on our property. You know,
So,
not having a committee telling me I can't be buried next to my loved ones or my ancestors.
I don't think that's what they said at all.
Well, I know a couple in this town that's been told that they can't be next to each other in our own cemetery. And I hope you look into that.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, please.
I just want to clarify that nowhere in the rules and regulations does it say anything about that. If somebody wants to be buried next to somebody, if they purchased a lot, they have the deed,
Mhm.
and the town has no right to prevent them from being buried next.
They've already been told there's someone.
So if there's something happening out there and someone has told someone that that's not happening, then that has nothing whatsoever to do with what this ad hoc committee has been working with, number one. But it does maybe go towards proving that we need to shore up our process and have that standard operating procedure booklet or something so that the community understands what they're purchasing when they do purchase a lot, so on and so. But, you know. You sound pretty upset, and Mr. Piper, dead. And I could agree with you if that has happened, that's pretty terrible, but if they come in with a deed and so on and so forth. And or at least talk to the town manager or come to the board. Maybe that problem could get resolved.
Yes, first I've heard of it, so.
Yeah, I would encourage whoever has that issue to come to the board with it so we can clarify
I've been here for a
this
year.
issue.
Nobody in my office has said anything about. This is news to me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with that said, in the processes she's talking about. I just went through 7, 8 pages of documents that was like. Step by step by step by step of literally how to sit that. How to deal with people who want to purchase a lot. The process it goes
With
through,
Lillian,
how, yeah,
yeah,
so I mean, there's already,
it's already in the works.
yeah, a procedure that's pretty much. Complete, I mean, we've been following it. We don't sell a bunch of them, but we've sold a couple lots, we follow it. As written. We haven't had any issues so far.
It's also come to my attention that Dick Piper is the only one on the Economic Development Committee, so you can have Lillian send the rules and regulations to me and I will make it sign it.
Okay,
Lily's gonna send you an email, says what you want to do.
What is that?
You gotta order a sign.
No, not anymore. No, I'll-
Cemetery.
I'll order the sign. I can handle the sign.
All
all
right,
right,
thank you.
you're welcome.
This really is wonderful, man.
Thank you.
Really. That is a
Well,
lot.
thanks for the willingness to see it first.
Moving on to new business, the consent agenda. Looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I will make a motion that we approve the consent agenda. I'll second it.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor, Bob, aye.
Azalea, I. Heather, I.
Sandra, I.
Thank you. The total on that is $233,394.64.
AP warrant has school payment in,
School payment, all right,
that's, which went up to 140,000-ish.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then approve the minutes for the July 5th select board meeting.
That was my ears.
All right. Everybody have a chance to look at those?
I move that we approve the minutes of the July 5th, 2023 select board meeting.
I second that.
Thank you. Any discussion? I didn't see anything in there. All right.
Oh,
Good. You caught something?
well, the key, sorry. The cable franchise, agreement. I was good, on July 5th, it was there, it's still there on the 18th, I think. I couldn't remember when the contract was.
At the last meeting, so you can cross it out, because I didn't remove it, because I was rushing to do this again.
No worries.
It's been submitted and it's all signed.
Joe,
Okay.
thank you. Any other? No?
Just going off this.
All those in favor, Bob, aye.
Azalea, I. No, you're good.
You weren't here, so I didn't know if you were gonna.
Oh my gosh, no, I was on autopilot, ignore me. Azalea, not I, ignore me.
Heather, I.
Aye.
Thank you.
3,
No.
Committee appointments.
that list is a lot longer now.
Yeah, we've taken on some extras here. Based on our last meeting. Go through.
Let's start with the ones you got on your list.
Yes. I'll make a motion that we appoint Cameron Hinckley to the rec committee for 2 years.
Second that motion?
Any discussion? All those in favor, Bob, aye.
Azalea, I.
Heather, I.
Aye.
Thank you. You know the dates on that, can? Yeah. Yeah. Right. Looking for a motion to appoint Richard Piper to the planning board for 3 years.
We've read in the minutes, we were going to have a discussion.
Yes, we should have a discussion on that. I see Dick showed up, which is wonderful. So.
Something needs to make a motion.
Second for discussion.
I'll go make a motion for discussion. Yeah, that's right. We have to make a motion before we discuss it.
So there's a motion, right? We just need a second, and then you can have a discussion.
Correct.
But since my family member, I feel like I should stay with this. But
Okay.
I'll second it then.
Who made the motion?
Who made the motion?
Thought you did.
No, I said, I was looking for a motion.
It's second on the discussion and discuss it 5 minutes, without having, oh. Which have 5 minutes, or whatever time you want.
Yeah,
Just make the motion.
Or you can make a motion.
anybody want to make a motion on that?
That dies in the zone. You know, for 10 minutes. So if they don't get 10 minutes, they gonna change it, don't make me make an emotion until it dies.
Yep.
But I don't want it.
Okay, so no motion on that.
You invited.
Looking for a motion. To appoint Colleen Halls for planning board for 1 year.
I'll make a motion to appoint Colleen to Kelsey to be at planning board for 1 year. I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor, Bob, aye.
Aye. Sorry, Azalea, aye. Heather, aye.
Thank you. And for motion on Priscilla Bennett to the budget committee for 1 year.
I'll make a motion to appoint Priscilla Bennett to the budget committee for you.
Thank you.
And says, yeah.
A second on that?
What is it?
Yeah.
All right, so we're on D.
D.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of that.
There's a motion, no second here.
Okay. So there's currently only 2 active members of the budget committee. Share that.
Okay,
All right.
They've moved on past you.
Yeah.
Yeah. They now appoint.
I'll second it.
Wait, hold on. Wait.
On that thing.
Wait.
so Sandra second that. Yep. Any discussion? All those in favor? Bob, aye.
Azalea, aye.
Heather, aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Question,
Yes, Tina.
according to your minutes, you invited Mr. Piper here for an interview for today. So I think that you owe him respect to give it to him,
Okay,
rather than skip over him. So you can make a motion and second it and then call for discussion. Whether you vote him in or not, that's up to the voting part, but you invited him here, here he is.
I agree with that. All right.
Absolutely. Hold that.
So let's go back and. We'll make a motion to. Have a discussion with Richard Piper on his potential planning board appointment for 3 years.
I'll second that.
Thank you. And the discussion.
Favor.
Do we have to do that? Oh, yeah, because it's for discussion.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
That's right. So all in favor, Bob, aye. Oh, yes.
I'm wondering if I should.
Heather, aye.
you have no, there's no money involved with this.
Oh, okay.
You have no reason to abstain if you aren't gonna gain anything. If you're gonna come on. I want to-
Sounds great discussion.
Azalea, aye.
Aye. Good.
Fun.
What do you hope to do on the planning board?
And
What do you hope to do on the planning board?
how many members, I can stand up. How many members are on the planning board?
Currently,
2.
How many are supposed to be on the plan?
5.
I don't know,
Okay, so if I was elected to go on the planning board, I'd only be 20% of the vote. So that's not a deciding percentage.
Actually, there's gonna be 3, because we just selected Colleen to it. That's what I thought.
Oh.
Yeah.
And so I used to be even the chairman of the board, never had any complaints. So I'd like you to voice your complaints about Dick Piper and anything he's done. And I'll try to educate you. My experiences besides the planning board here is I was a developer in Scarborough. And I have a lot of experience. And there was a reason I moved to Buckfield, Maine. It's because I didn't want to see it. And like Scarborough. Scarborough right now is fighting. These are my words. I'm not a politician. Scott was fighting to preserve, or try to preserve land for farming.
Yeah.
And it's almost impossible. I don't know if you realize it, but you have the same problem here. So, you know, if you don't, you don't. But I do care. You know, one of the other things that I care about, and I couldn't believe it. The biggest complaint that I heard about this town, we were here, down in Charlie's, you know, the great little. It's unbelievable. And the number one complaint about this town was none of the children stayed here. They all moved on. There's a reason. Because they didn't want change. But change is happening all around you. You don't even see it. You had a lot come out and sold for almost $500,000 into it. What do you want for a community? Yeah, you know, the Pipers, I can say it. We're preserving land for the future. We don't see it destroyed. I think the majority of this town, including this board, you know, I had some. See, I don't even know how to run one of these things. You know, I don't understand. And then, oh. You
Did
had,
I just hear you correctly that you think that this board wants this town destroyed? I think that's what you just said.
you know, about way if you don't put things in place to preserve it. You don't want change. Well, I got news for you. If you don't want change, it's happening. And you're not going to be able to stop it unless you get some ordinances. And on the planning board, and I'll give you an example. Someone asked me questions. And I'm glad I'll come anytime. I told you once I'd come in for a road committee and try to educate you on that. Thought it was a good idea. They don't like people, you know what, show loss. I was asked, did you take out any permits? Well, I haven't. And I said, no, I don't have. If you believe that I have to, you have availability to MMA and anyone else on board. That's the same ability, if they don't like something or don't like something, be careful how you write the letter. They're gonna answer you exactly. Well, and the question I was asked, it went back and forth. I call it back and forth. I don't use good English and I don't really.
So just to be clear, you're referring to the conversation you and I had.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And you know what? I don't blame you for asking. I was asking two different scenarios. Now, on my wife and I landed. You do not have to take out a. Not even for the temporary board because there's no foundation. The other thing. You can't do. You can't put pressurized water in. You can't have. Obviously. A toilet other than the old fashioned. One hole was like we had a 3-hole, to go through your duty. And in our case, in the glampings, you have like a 1-hole where you fail. And you put a bag in it, you do your duty. Take it up and give it to the dump. And some people think that's horrible. I mean, you type this. Hey, boys, they're all the dump. So that's legal. So now the other question is, if you build a tiny house, see, there's a difference between tiny houses and glamping. A tiny house, I don't know what date it was effective, sometime long ago. And I haven't built any tiny houses. A tiny house can be up to 400 square feet. And the lot doesn't count if it's not over 46 or 47. I think that's factors, 48 inches. And if you build it that way, so in a tiny house, not glamping, tiny house, then you can put it on an acre lot with another house. And you can hook into the septic system, you can hook into the water system, and you have to take out. But glamping you don't. And a good case in point in the glamping is how many tire containers are in the town of Buckfield. You didn't have to take out a permit for them. And now, if the town chooses to wanna, I think it's called supersede. The state law. You have to take and have an ordinance and put it for the people and see if they'll do it. Good luck. Fuck it.
Yes, Glenn?
I'm
Glenn,
me. My turn. So, I'm not gonna disagree with everything you said, but the town of Buckfield building permit ordinance. It was passed by the town of Buckfield voters, as you said.
yeah.
Building structure needs a permit. As defined in the ordinance. Anything built for the support, shelter, or enclosure of persons, animals, goods, or property of any kind, together with anything constructed or erected with a fixed location on or in the ground, doesn't have a foundation, exclusive of fences and wells. The term includes structures, temporary or permanent. That's the ordinance and that's the definition. And if your house parking contains does need a permit. Well, my boat trailer doesn't need,
Not all,
but that's what it says.
which take it for.
Why? You want to be on the planning board, you don't think you have to follow the rules?
No, I believe that's an illegal ordinance. All you got to
Why
do,
do you think this is for?
you got to have your building guy take it for. And I'll prove that's an illegal law.
Well, I would have a problem with somebody who feels that way about ordinances. They didn't come and just get a ruling to create that, so that the town could do that. All you had to do is come in and say, do I need a permit? And he goes, yeah, I don't think so, I'm not going to, and that would have taken care of it to move forward.
Okay,
But you're saying that you want the planning board to create rules, but you don't want to follow the rules we already have.
no, that isn't what I'm saying. I'm saying that's an illegal law, because the state says different.
Right. And look at it.
Should see it as the law, they just enact.
They haven't enacted it, they pushed it off for another year, that's coming like the next July. Not this July,
Then I'm wrong.
you are,
So then, don't put me on the planning board.
I don't get a vote.
Yeah, so you.
And you know that, I think you have a lot to offer. But it's these situations where if you disagree with what somebody else wants, they're just wrong. I sound, okay, I think, yeah, we should move on to that over here, it is. Yourself, me. Oh, I'm sorry, did you guys?
Planning board, I don't.
He can't hear you anyways, I don't think.
Yeah, no.
In your opinion.
My opinion.
Yeah, hey, Dick,
Let's bring it close to this conversation. Penny, did you have?
So anyway,
But you should be having a conversation.
Yeah,
Debating
yeah, we're
whether or not Mr. Piper is put on the committee or not.
agreed.
What he has on his land and.
Yeah, we agree.
Has no,
Yep,
okay,
thank you.
she's in favor of you,
Pardon?
she's in favor of you.
All right,
she said this should be debated. Wait, too. Your
so
personal issues with the town.
we're gonna move forward. That's all right. Good.
I was on the planning board once too. Dick, you and I have agreed and we have disagreed in the past. My question to you is, even though you're coming to the board with experience from the past that you just mentioned. When I was on the planning board, I went to an MMA training. Would you be willing to go to an MMA training in the event that laws, procedures, etc. have changed since you've been in the working field and it's now 2023?
What?
Okay, there was just a question, my input.
Actually, all the time for school.
No, I know, but things have
Yep.
changed. I just was wondering if
Yep.
that,
No.
because
Yep, thank you.
it helped me. It
Okay,
helped me when I was on the thing.
so did we want to revisit that appointment? Okay, you want to go ahead with a motion on that?
No, I didn't hear you.
I was looking for a motion to appoint Richard Piper to the planning board for 3 years. A motion, okay, we're moving on, thank you,
Thank you for the opportunity.
thank you, Dick.
Have a good evening.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
So. One to Colleen, okay,
Everett.
yes,
Everett was on there too.
Mhm.
Sweet.
so looking for a motion to appoint Colleen Halsey to the. Community Events Committee for 1 year.
I'll make a motion to appoint Colleen Halsey to somebody events for 1 year.
We need to get microphones in here for everybody. Or you need to not do this when you're talking, because we cannot hear you back here. We really can't, and it's not just me.
It would be difficult to have microphones while we have other microphones that are picking up the,
Yeah,
it would get, this is more of that.
we'll try to project.
There you go.
So
Use your deep voice.
Yeah,
Yes, please.
so looking for a second on that,
I will second that.
thank you. Any discussion? Yes.
Heather, yes. So. Colleen,
You were here earlier tonight, may I ask?
Yeah,
You were here earlier tonight, you give so much and do so much and you filled it.
Agreed.
And filled this out,
Well, they handed me a pen and an application, all I have to do is sign it, really.
right. So I guess I want to give you the opportunity to say, seeing that we had other people step up tonight, knowing that you will still volunteer and be a part, rather than make a 1-year commitment.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, all sleep is really overrated.
Well, I agree, but I just wanted to
Thank you.
to recognize what you do and give you the opportunity
I
to
appreciate
say,
that.
okay. Thank you.
all right. All in favor, Bob, aye?
Cecilia, I.
Heather,
I,
y'all suck, by the way.
Kelly?
Do you have Mr. Law?
Looking for a motion to appoint Jen Lowell to the Community Events Committee for a 3-year term.
I will make a motion that we appoint Jen Lowell to the Community Event Committee for a 3-year term.
I will second that.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, Bob, aye?
Cecilia, I.
Heather, I.
Yeah. We're looking for a motion to appoint Everett Tilton to the Community Events Committee for a 1-year term.
I will make a motion that we appoint Everett Tilton to the Community Event Committee for a 1-year term.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All in favor, Bob, aye?
Cecilia, I.
Heather, I.
Thank you, everybody. You get everyone?
Think so.
All right. ARPA State Fiscal Recovery Funds discussion.
You want me to stay for this?
I'm sorry?
Do you want me to stay for this? I'm your ARPA administrator.
You can stay.
Probably.
Okay.
I know you love spending time here. so.
Babies, you know, it's great.
What did you have for us on this one, Cam? Okay.
Everything I provided is in the packet, so.
It's next up.
I'm gonna say Vivian posed a question consisting of 7 questions, and I think,
No,
yeah,
Mhm.
those are one of the questions she brought at the last meeting. So it's all in there.
it's on the website. It's on the website. A little bit, yeah. No, it's on the website.
Good, just forgot the question.
Yeah.
I guess.
Sure.
All right, so question number 1 was, did the select board from here on out, the board appoint an authorized representative for the town, or is the board and its municipal officers the sole holder of the authority? The answer was the town of Buckfield appointed an official ARPA representative, Colleen. Question number 2 was, has the board reviewed or accepted the P&E RPT and was it sent to Treasury in April 23 as required? The answer is yes, the town has submitted all required project and expenditure reports in a timely manner. Question number 3, will the board during a regularly scheduled meeting, please share with the public the following? How much money was originally received, beginning balance, how much money has been spent, and what it was spent on, and it's the remaining balance, if any. Number 3, the select board town manager can elect when to present this information to the public. That information is in a spreadsheet in this packet that you can find in between the questions and the answers. Number 4, if there is remaining money in the account, will the board please designate a time during a regularly scheduled meeting to discuss, take public feedback, and decide what remaining money will be used / expended on? The town has already identified more projects than the allotted money could fund, and we have already seen that priorities can change. It is up to the board to determine if public input will be considered on the remaining funds, and I'd like to think that this board is pretty good about accepting public feedback on these things. Number 5, is there a drop dead date, must spend by date deadline for the remaining money? ARPA monies must be obligated by December 31st of 2024 and fully expended by December 31st, 2026. Question number 6 was, will the ARPA funds account be part of the whole town fiscal year 2022 to 2023 financial audit, or will it be a separate standalone section or not included at all? The answer is that ARPA monies will be noted in the town's financial audit. And the final question was, in terms of tracking, how will any money spent for specific department expenses be incorporated in the year-end department total expenses? And the answer to that is ARPA monies are separate and while tracked by the department, will not be included in the end-of-year department expenses.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Oh, yes, ma'am?
I really appreciate that because you asked me to put it in writing, I put it in writing and then it's on the agenda and I did. Get a response, so thank you for that. I do not understand this, the spreadsheet. For example, on question 3, I wanted to know how much overall did the town receive in ARPA funds? What was the beginning balance? It is not on this sheet. Then, the money spent to date. And it could just be, again, that I'm not understanding how to read this spreadsheet. It said date approved by the select board and then the date paid, and if you go about halfway down, just as an example, fire department line. Says tablet cases, MiFi devices and service, and it's blank. There is a 942.11 on the far right-hand corner. Which I'm not sure why that's there. That whole column reads 194 something, and then it says a balance of 19. But then there's another section with a 2,710 expenditure with a balance of 39. If I were, the way I did my math, I came up with 217,000. I went through the library meeting minutes. All the way back to June 21st, 2020, looking for the total amount of ARPA money because it wasn't on the paper and it wasn't the question. And it said that MMA disposition use of ARPA funds, Buckfield will receive $215, $215,448.87. So I'm not either understanding this. Or we've overspent the ARPA funds and we still don't know what so there was no beginning balance, there's no ending balance. And it seems to me like we've either overspent or underspent. And in addition to that, I tried to go through the archive approved minutes. Which I didn't finish before tonight's meeting, because Cameron did call me, this went up yesterday, I couldn't finish it. Library hours, so on and so forth, right? I'm trying to understand that throughout this time, a select board, not necessarily this board, would say things like, let's approve X amount of money for Trio. Yet there's no beginning or ending balance on that to see, did we overspend what the board approved or not? Am I being clear here? I don't understand this and don't. The attempt was there. I greatly appreciate it. But the information isn't here. Do you guys know how much the town of Buckfield received total?
Yes.
And what was that?
$214,312.07.
Can you say it again? 214 what?
$214,312.07.
Was the total amount that we got
Yeah,
from the government?
so
Question, I'll clarify that.
the library was separate.
What do you mean separate? It says ARPA.
through the main state library, which is a separate pot of money that's in the same account, but that's the bottom portion that you're looking at. That's that $39 that's left. That was the that was totally separate from the town's ARPA funds. That was through the main state library.
So if I add the 2,710 to the 97 to that 214,
If you add, sorry, Bob,
No, go ahead.
if you take that total that's in that box right there and you add that balance, you get the total that Bob just gave you.
what box?
Total expended,
Yeah.
balance remaining, add those two numbers. You get the amount received. Same here.
So we have
Amounts.
$19,000 left
Yes,
out of all the ARPA. That's the ending balance.
for the town's portion, the library still has $39.03.
Well, that answers. That answers.
And just to clarify, that 942 that you're questioning up on the right hand corner. That
Would that be
it's not carried over yet because
not carried over?
it's not carried over to the expended amount because Walmart never actually charged us for the 2 tablets. So that's why I left it there. But there's a sticky note on there. What's the amount that the select board approved for the fire department's MiFi yellow?
That was for the,
Just, oh, sorry.
no,
It says fire department MiFi tablets.
the fire department tablets cases for $2,255.
98 cents
Yeah,
on September 20th of 2022.
yeah.
So
So when I looked at it in the minutes, that was one of the ones that I happened to find the motion on. And it was, for that, but it didn't say we would be paying the monthly fee.
through the end of the fiscal year.
Yeah.
At which time it would be budgeted for, which it is, and now it's no longer coming out of ARPA.
And not written in minutes, so I believe you. I believe you. And so I'm just thankful. And will the board at some point be open to putting that on the agenda to where the remaining funds would go? I mean, I thought I heard Sally say yes, but like to hear from the rest of the board.
Yes, Colleen?
Of course, that's always an option by the board, but there have already been projects submitted by department heads that probably should be considered or those monies are open to the general public. This was an opportunity for the town to do some things that we wouldn't have normally had the money to do, it was in the town to improve resources of the individual departments, and department heads have identified numerous projects that should at least be considered before you maybe go to plan B, in my opinion.
So we could look at them all together as, through the departments and. If there's
Well,
suggestions.
I agree. I didn't know that they had been submitted to the board. But that's what I'm asking. Board consider what Colleen just said as well as the public. And you just said yes.
Absolutely, yeah.
So is there on the continuing list or whatever we're calling it now, a number for that item?
I don't know that there is yet.
Can there be? So that it's not forgotten.
Will it be under the budget? Yes, Glenn?
Wouldn't it make sense to just put out the word that anybody who's interested in putting forward a project, submit it to the town office and we'll get one at the select board in due course.
That's what I would recommend.
But I think you have a special meeting, just people can submit their ideas.
Right,
A list is a lot more efficient than a conversation.
yes.
But minimally on the list of ongoing things, the ARPA.
Well, I'm just wondering if it would be covered under the budget. And then, no,
I was told that it's won't be part of the, the audit or whatever, and I guess I'm assuming it's not part of. I'm sorry, I said that wrong, Kenny. I was told in the past that the ARPA funds do not get included in the financial fiscal budget of the
Right.
town. So why would it be part of the budget process?
That for consideration as we go through the items, that's what I was thinking, but
Oh,
I don't know if that's. The best way, yes, Sandra?
Might I suggest that we add number 15 to in progress items, expenditure of art?
thank you.
Sure.
I find that agreeable.
And again, constitutionally,
Thank you. Right. The town of Buckfield remote participation policy. That policy is outlined here. Yes, Sandra.
Are we starting with discussion?
Yes,
That's what-
please.
It's my belief that since that one of the positive outcomes of having remote participation ability that was started out of necessity with the pandemic is it has led to people being able to participate, to watch, to see meetings that normally would have been prevented or unable to do so. And I know of many people who go back and watch it later.
Mhm.
yeah,
I think that that's fantastic, and any way that we can get more community involvement or disseminate information accurately is really important. I personally would like to see us continue to have remote participation available for those community members who are unable to come to meetings. Although I also really would like to encourage people to come to meetings. I think that the more people who are in the room to participate, the more dynamic the discussion can be. I think that it's a good thing that we are reviewing the policy, however,
Mhm.
and make sure that the policy that was put in place due to the needs of the pandemic, maybe parts of it need to be streamlined or but I personally would not like to see it go away.
Yeah,
And I think we are kind of obligated to continue zooming our meetings because we've now gotten rid of our cable franchise agreement as well.
yes,
So. Like, I don't think this has been brought to our attention because people want to get rid of the Zoom. I'm thinking that it's because we have a member of our select board that consistently zooms into meetings and is not here in person, and some people have a problem with it. I personally don't, like, I find him easier to hear on the Zoom meetings. I think that it's, we have a problem with hearing things in this room, so that makes it a little easier. But I won't speak for everyone. I also do miss having him here in the room with us. I really enjoy seeing him. But if he's dealing with things at home that requires him to zoom into his meetings to fulfill his civic duty, then so be it, in my opinion. But I think that is why that's been brought forward, not whether or not we should continue zooming the meetings, but whether or not we should continue to let Mike continually zoom into select board meetings.
yes, Sandra.
I'm not sure it would be, that's good information as far as discussion. I'm not sure it would be best practice to base policy on an individual.
I don't even think there's an issue with this policy. It's kind of the enforcement of the policy, because the policy itself says Members of the body are expected to be physically present for meeting except when not practicable, such as the case of an emergency or urgent issue that requires the body to meet via remote methods, or an illness or temporary absence of a member causes significant difficulty traveling to the meeting location. I don't think the wording of the policy is the issue here. I think it might be the enforcement. Is why this is brought to us, but maybe that's just me.
Yes, I'm,
So if we as a board feel that this is adequate as written, then we just need to enforce what is written.
yep. Oh, Viv had her hand up first, but do you want,
Yeah, go ahead.
Glenn, yeah,
What is enforcement?
And I'd imagine the chair reaching out to the member and encouraging him to be here in person when he's available to.
Encouragement on board.
I mean, how can you really enforce it?
A lot of my points.
I guess.
And I mean, there's nothing that says it's not that there. Some law enforcement, they're elected, nobody can remove. Unless it's a inclusion call.
It's the only way.
Yes, so. It's no enforcement to be done, either people will abide by the policy in place, or they won't.
Adrian,
Should there be some sort of system to have policies enforceable? Because it sounds like
They're elected officials, you can't put a policy in place, then it's a, we already have in place, which is a recall. You can't say, if you miss 3 meetings, you're no longer selected. So we leave.
it's
Good question.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, Viv,
Along those same lines, I tried to do some research and I've brought this up before that other town select boards have a working guiding set of bylaws. And so in terms of encouraging, I think, and then add that to the ethics policy that's in the personnel handbook and the oath that a select person takes. That maybe that would be enough. On the other hand, I agree with what Sandra said. I don't think a specific policy should be written around whether it's a Mike example or an Azalea example or a Bob example. But I think the board itself needs to agree to encourage, I guess, and or to come up with a set of bylaws.
but even, yes,
Or that
yeah, even if we did, there's still only one,
they're unenforceable
You
Yeah.
as selectmen are only beholden
to the public.
to the public, so the only person that can remove you. Or the only people that can remove you are the voters.
yes, Penny?
I don't, I'm sorry. That was
I don't think it's necessarily about one particular selectman, and I really, it's, you know, there's times when you're new, sorry. But there's been times where our other select people have been on Zoom versus in the building. I think, we want to see our select people. We want them to be present. So they maybe not a continued habit of Zoom. You know, and I'm saying this to all of you. You know, don't make me come track you down. You know, it's nice to have you in the building. You know, we like to talk to you after the meetings, we like to talk to you before the meetings, we like to talk along during the meetings. And it would just be nice to remember that, you know, it is Zoom, it's new, but it's for an emergency, it's for a certain situation. And maybe if the people of the town knew what the situation was, why someone has been, you know, remote more than in person, a lot of people don't know. You know,
Right,
and
well-
it's a personal issue. You know,
Right, and how can I define their emergency?
right,
Or their hardship? So. Many of my meetings now. Involve Zoom. Throughout the day, that's kind of the way of things. My preference personally is to be here, chat with everybody. But there have certainly been times where, you know, I've had to zoom in, usually from an ambulance station somewhere.
I love sitting in my living room and watching the meeting
Yeah,
versus coming down here and.
But not everybody has access to that equipment. Number one. Number two, my question is there anything that says that any of you even have to be here? That could you all individually be at home zooming, because there's nothing that says you have to be.
Nothing.
yes, Sandra?
As we saw during the pandemic, we could all zoom in from our living rooms.
That was on.
But I believe that. So what says we have to be here is that we were elected by the citizens of this town. And I could be wrong, but I believe that the majority of the citizens of this town would like to see this board meet together in person together whenever possible. And we are beholden to the people who voted for us to fulfill what it is they ask of us. So I would say that as much as this is not enforceable by us, what we should be doing is putting together a policy that is best practice, but also follows as closely as possible the wishes of those people who elected us. And the people of town would like to see us sit together face to face. I understand that Zoom is the way of the future and it opens it up that we can have conversations and participation with people far, far away. I personally believe that in-person discussion is best practice, but that's me, older generation. But I think that's where we're coming from. So we have this policy that we have agreed to, and we need to be professional enough to
Personal
do what it is that we agreed to do.
Yeah, personal responsibility.
Reelected or anything, like, we're not gonna vote for it.
Oh,
Louder. What'd you say?
People ain't gonna vote for her, if she doesn't show up,
What?
won't vote for her if she doesn't show up.
I mean, that's,
That's the accountability,
Right.
is being reelected. You're not gonna be reelected if the people don't like the.
So what, we have to wait 3 years?
Yeah.
No, start a recall if you don't like it.
I'm just asking.
Done.
Yes, Adrian?
Just on the note of accountability to kind of build off of what we're going on, it sounds like basically the townspeople are. You're all beholden to the townspeople, so maybe like a running tally of. In-person attendance, so that way voters will have sort of like, oh. This person's here 50% of the time over the past X months or whatever the decision is.
I mean, it is noted on each of our minutes who attends
Right.
Zoom versus in person.
And I think they were calling for
Judy's.
Yes, Glenn?
just going back to when I sat in this room. People went on vacation. They'd miss a meeting. People were sick, they'd miss anything. The option to have Zoom is something that has been new. If you simply eliminate the ability to participate remotely. You still have a board that can function. And then that may make other people make different decisions, whether it be Mike or anybody else. And it's like, if I can't make meetings because I'm always on the road, maybe I shouldn't be doing the role that I have. So, I mean, to me, a policy that said anytime that there is a declared state of emergency by the governor or by the chairman of the board, which means the town's in trouble. That's the only time that we can do remote. And it's done.
so that would not
Yeah,
that would not preclude people from watching,
okay.
but
Judy's raising her hand.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
Judy.
Judy, from Zoom.
Okay, as an elderly member of the community, I must say I do appreciate your Zoom meetings, especially if I'm out of town or the weather is bad, and especially in winter. Please keep the Zoom meetings going. Thank you.
Watch.
Thank you, Judy. Yes, Tina?
If you amend your bylaws or policy, whatever you call it, to reflect what Glenn just communicated. You still can't enforce anything because they're elected officially, you can recommend,
No, if they're not here, they don't vote, they don't need to
well,
participate.
that's true,
Right, that's the enforcement, it's like either you show up or you don't, your choice.
but if they're on Zoom. or-
They can watch by Zoom, but there'll be nobody to participate.
State law changed because during COVID. They put the Zoom law in that you could vote remotely. So has that been taken out?
Want to declare that was over it. That was all dependent on city first.
Are they now looking permanently?
You can make that internal over it.
And they also repealed the section that required. Yeah. Number
Speak
two.
up, Hannah.
So I'm just gonna play devil's advocate. Because as a former selectman that worked. And this is totally different than the current situation that we're talking about, but. I was all over the state. And there were numerous occasions where I was able to attend those meetings. Still do what was required. And still perform the job that I have to do to pay my mortgage. So with that said, we're always talking about getting new blood, finding people, more people that, it's very. I get what Glenn's saying, but it does open the door to more opportunities, a more diverse group of individuals to be on the board. So I just. It was nice to have that option when need be.
And I think if someone's elected as a representative, like accessibility is an important thing. And if they can only access these select board meetings on Zoom, like. Sure, you sacrifice the conversation time before and after the select board meetings, but you still have their information to contact them. Like you can still reach out to them and voice your concerns about what's going to happen at a meeting, what's not going to happen. I don't know. I don't have a problem with it the way it is. I like that we can, I haven't even zoomed into a meeting and participated, but like, I like that I have that. I missed two, I was on the driving during one of them and working during the other, so like I couldn't have zoomed in if I wanted to. But like, I like that that is an option.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd also like to point out, like right now, 1, 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 people out of a town with 2,000 people are sitting here or on Zoom. So even if a selectman does have to show up on Zoom, that's more than what the other 1,900 and change are doing.
Yeah.
To be involved, so.
But 200 of them will watch it on Facebook.
True, I'll check the news tomorrow.
Yeah, over 200 people watch the meeting.
That's just the same person.
Maybe in 3 months.
Honestly,
Oh. Her internet can't cut this.
Yeah.
That was good discussion. Any further discussion on that?
Yes. Think. Because I think in one of those printed answers that I read on the website, in reference to my number 7 question. Cameron has now put. Instead of a stick, it's on YouTube. I haven't tried it yet. I don't know how, I gotta figure that out, but it's on YouTube.
Next training session at the library.
Let's do lunch.
Go stand next to Glenn and look at the TV real quick. So if you go to the homepage, oops, wrong version. So you've been to the website, you know what it looks like.
Yeah. for something you said was on there.
See all these blocks here?
Yeah,
Very bottom, select board meeting recordings. You click it, it'll take you right to it and you can pick the date. Right now, it only has the last meeting because I started this fiscal year.
awesome, thank you. But I wanted to thank him because that was the answer that he had provided that you hadn't said yet.
And I thought that was a great idea, so thank you for bringing that up.
Yes.
And one more thing on that,
Yes,
I would rather have the selectmen on Zoom than not be here at all.
Yep.
And still, they still get to participate in the meeting. And voice their opinion, even if you change around your bylaws and say they can't vote, I would still like to hear their opinions. So that you have 5 versus 4, 3, 2, right? Yeah.
thank you. All right. Text my gov proposal.
I included this in here for all of you to consider for the future, now, next year, whatever. We were all just talking about enhancing communication in town, and also streamlining some processes. We get, I don't know how many phone calls a day, you know, what are the hours to the town office, what's the animal control officer's phone number, what's the code enforcement officer's number? And when's the dump open? You know, the common, just every day asking questions over and over again, so. I watched the demo on this, there's some towns in Maine that use it, they focus specifically on government. But basically you're provided a number that people can join, basically contact lists, nobody checks their email anymore, so email lists are dead. They can opt in, so perfect example, right? Bear Pond Road is closed for 7 to 10 days. If you don't know Bear Pond Road is closed for 7 to 10 days, it's closed for 7 to 10 days. Just trying to get it out there. So if you opt into the service, which basically they just send a text and it signs them up. And then if we push out a notification like reminder, select board meeting tonight, here's a Zoom link. It sends it out to everybody that's on the list, or there's a road closure, you can even segregate it by area. If there's an emergency and a road's blocked off, you can send it to just those users in that area.
Yes,
So it sounds very much like with the school. If you have a student in school, you can sign up.
Watch group number 7.
You got.
Where's the bunny bus?
Whenever there's an issue with the school, you
Yep.
get a notification on your phone and anybody can sign up to get those notifications and most people do have their phone with them. So
I just found
it is
this
efficient.
intriguing, you know, because we're always talking about communication, you know, we got the website, we got Facebook, we got the sign, we got. People show up on election day and say, I didn't know it was election day. Oh, I figured out, you're here. No, they came to register their car and found it. The initial year, it's like 5,000.
It costs $1,750, the implementation / setup fee, that's a one-time fee, so that's included in the first year payment. The package on a yearly basis is $3,500, so that first year we would be spending $5,250 to implement it and then subscribe to it. And then ongoing, it would be $3,500 a year.
There's your ARPA funds to drain the community.
Communication, right, emergencies.
Yeah.
It was just something I wanted to put in front of you because.
now that I've read it, I have seen towns that use this and it's very good.
This,
Is that a population based subscription number?
it's based off population, yes.
And do you know what the next cutoff number is about who we're at? Is you got
I'd have to ask.
Buckfield, Barford and something all to it under one subscription, you have only have like 33,000 people and split the bill.
I didn't think of that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Make it outside.
You can create groups too, so you can have specific groups for specific for Sumner, specific for this, you can have specific groups for rec.
Yeah.
Or whatever. There's a lot you can do with it and it's,
Yes, Colleen?
There's generally an established protocol when you look at implementing new technology, and one of the first things that I think that we would do is. The vendor would provide references for other towns that have implemented this technology, like a list of customers. And we decide who we want to reach out to, maybe it's the comparable size population, things like that. But there's always lessons to be learned that people have already gone down that path and share, and so you can basically a smarter implementation. The other thing is, we might be able to convince them to do a free demo, like limited population, things like that. We could also do a survey right on our website to say, is this something that you would be interested in? And if they're driving their cost based on population statistics, then a fair comeback for us would be, they set the initial cost for half, but then we look at usage, how many people actually signed up, and we renegotiate that number on a timely basis. So, you know, they charge us because we have 2,000 people here and we wind up with 50 users, then, you know, that's a number that we don't want to lock into. We want to have some flexibility to renegotiate costs that are appropriate. I think it's a great idea to look at combining resources with another town, things like that, but a free demo for something like this, and at a minimum, talking to other towns is probably a good starting point.
Great.
A free demo on something like that, I don't know,
It's done routinely.
anyways, I agree with what she's saying, yeah, I do have 2 towns that I know of that use it, and they're 2 totally different sized towns, you know, you got Van Buren up near the Canadian border, they've only got a population of what, 1,100, 1,200, and then you got Waterboro, which is 7,000.
Here, Auburn,
Auburn does it too.
I'm not sure it's the exact same company. Tax force with them. It's basically everything.
And we could certainly do an ROI with other vendors, you know, you don't just want to go with one that the other one provides.
What is the school you think?
Beats me. Like I said, I put this in front of the board as just sharing information.
That's a great idea. Yeah. Dig into it, bring back.
Yeah,
I have a follow-up call with him next week. I can ask for more towns that participate in it to reach out to and get more information on how it's working for them.
Sorry, did you reach your goal?
It's a great idea.
yeah.
Even
Yes,
Vivian knows how to text.
That's sounds exciting. I agree with what Glenn and Colleen just said, and one of my questions was. The way I understood it from reading it was that we had to sign up for a 2-year contract. And then maybe renegotiate the price, but if we went over a certain amount of text, then there were extra fees, so it would, I'm not saying I completely understand it. My question is this. Policy says anything over a certain amount has to go out. RFP.
Mhm.
I like the idea, I don't like it's being presented as just one vendor. Aren't there other companies, like Len just listed another company, so I think if you're gonna move forward on this, there should be at least 3 vendors. And follow policy. My 2 cents.
So as I push this to you for you to see,
yep,
I would love if one of you would like to research some other vendors and look into it. I just, like I said, I wanted to put it out there, so it's an option out there. And maybe it's where we should look with the 3, or who knows, maybe there's only 2 companies that do it, I don't know.
Problem solved.
Could you give such from MMA?
Thanks, Chad, on that.
You know. That'll probably work out like, yeah, the thing with this that's different than just like an email group or a text group is the software itself. If Vivian wants to know what the hours are on the dump, she texts the question and the software scours her website and sends her back the information.
Just get your work on secondary.
No. Will not do it. Good luck.
Actually, that brings me to another thing, because we heard lots of information. Trio was this beautiful thing, it was gonna save the town, so on and so forth, and it's ended up to cost. Way more than it was originally presented to the town, and there's still ongoing issues, it's still ongoing fees with it, so again, 3, at least 3 or something.
so did anybody want to help Cameron out with that?
Yeah, I'll reach out to other towns and see if they use any competitors. Figure out what their rates and.
A lot of times vendors will tell you who their competitors are because they like to tell you how much better they are, so. Good
And
information source.
I can give you
Would-
the guy's contact information that I talked to, so if you have any questions, you can reach it out. I just emailed it to you.
That's right.
So for point of clarification, is that for the next meeting or is that on the to-do list?
It was discussion.
Oh, yeah.
She just said she was gonna do it.
I'll do it. I don't know about for the next meeting, but
I should have listed this as information sharing.
You come a long way.
So we just. We don't off the list.
Yeah,
and
you
don't
did, you'll remind me. Sure.
I'll, find competitors. I'll find that information, compile it for the board and present it at a future meeting.
Cause yeah, it would be good to sort of potentially develop like a list of questions and make sure that you get the same response from each vendor kind of thing. And one of the things that would be good to focus on is it not just like ad hoc kind of based, someone submits a question, what are the hours of the transfer station, but also what our options are for push technology. Like if we wanted to send a warning, there's a flood, there's some flood or anything that we want to customize, or don't forget to vote on things like that. So I think we want to know,
I wish I would have had
and
you.
flexibility associated with push technology as well. What?
My follow-up call with him, you should sit down with me too, so, because you'll ask all the questions that need to be asked, and you'll.
Sounds.
Yeah.
All right, we're good there? Yeah. Election of MMA Vice President and Executive Committee members.
It's that time of year again.
Oh, and it looks like it's an easy choice.
Only one word.
Only one person ran for the vice president, and then for the next position, it was like choose three, and there's only three options. Yeah, executive committee members, pick three, and there's
Don't leave tonight till you sign it, sorry to send it back.
three options. For the vice president, it's Melissa Doan, town manager of the town of Bradley, and for the executive committee members, it is Shiloh Laferniere, town manager for the town of Jay, Nathaniel Trudy, town manager for the town of Gray, and Dina Walker, select person for the town of Wells.
Incredible.
I thought it was interesting, 2 games of grid. That's what I was mentioning, concerned.
Yeah,
You even,
I'm just playing commentary.
yeah,
I think I'll let's go. Well, once in a while. Anyways,
yeah, you have that.
anybody want to make a motion on that?
What motions?
I don't know. What do we
I make a motion that we vote for Melissa Doan as vice president for a 1-year term on the Maine Municipal Association voting ballot. And that we vote for the 3 listed executive committee members.
almost like.
As presented.
Steve.
And I'll second that. Any discussion?
That's certainly
Yeah. No. All those in favor, Bob, aye? Congratulations to those folks. All right, and there's a request to reschedule our August 1st meeting to another date.
You can either reschedule it, or this is my notice that I won't be here.
I am down to reschedule.
Yeah. Also. My daughter has tryouts for softball, so.
All right, already.
Yep.
Great.
So do you want to do August 8th?
That works for me.
I would not be able to attend that.
Okay,
It's my perfect.
could you zoom in?
I could not zoom in.
Sorry.
Were you gone that week?
I'm not on that week, just that day,
Just-
and the following day. But I could do the 7th.
Monday?
Yep. Looks good.
That's quite.
I could do the 7th.
August is there's an extra week in it too, So
Yeah.
your meetings would be the 1st and the 15th, and then there'd be 2 weeks before the next meeting. I don't know if you want to just have them back to back week after week. Or if you want to just push both of them by 1 week.
Well, should we wait for softball schedule first?
No, let's just try it. It doesn't start till.
And we can't meet another day that week.
The second.
Doesn't a million work on?
I work Wednesday through Saturday until 8.
There he is.
Can't do Monday.
I can do Monday the 5th.
Can we do
We can all do the
22?
I can do the 22nd. I can do the 7th. Everyone here can do the 7th.
I can do the 7th or the 22nd, yeah.
Okay, so, yeah, so you're saying you're gonna push the 15th meeting to the 22nd and then the first meeting to the 7th?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm?
Is that what
So
you
you,
want to
you
do?
can't do the 31st.
31st.
I could do July 31st as well.
I can't.
Is there a reason that we can't move the August 1st meeting to July 31st?
Yeah, she's got tryouts on the 31st and the. She's only young once.
No, you,
Yes, absolutely.
You considered a different sprints or?
so
No,
days are we
softball's a
looking
year.
at? I'm sorry.
The 7th was working for all of us.
Yeah.
And then rescheduling the 15th to the 22nd, although
So Monday, the 7th,
Monday, the 7th.
Yeah, that works for me.
and we're doing Monday instead of Tuesday, just cause.
I can't do the Tuesday, but I mean, if you guys are okay with me not being.
And then. You said the 22nd?
Yeah.
I can make a graphic,
It's fine.
so people don't get confused.
It's my fault, they messed it up.
Without having my work calendar. Here, I can't say for the 22nd, I can say,
I mean, we can always reschedule the 15th on the 7th.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because-
Just tentatively.
right. No, I know I can do the 7th, but I
Yeah.
need to,
Okay, then why don't we just reschedule the August 1st one for the 7th for
Yeah.
now, and then we can revisit on the 7th for the next one.
that works, does that? Okay.
So just like this.
I'll make a motion that we reschedule the August 1st, 2023 select board meeting to the August 7th on a Monday, 2023.
I second that.
Any discussion? All in favor, Bob, aye.
Azalea, I.
Heather, I.
Next is the agenda. Right,
Yes.
yes. There's our public comment period. We've had a lot of public comment. Yes, Glenn?
I came here many moons ago. And talked about the Buckfield Village Corporation bringing out for the earmark or the Congressional Directives funding. Senate House moved all of our projects forward and that was not selected as one of them. We're still working on whether there are some other options, but that money's not be coming through.
Thank you for the update.
You got it.
Yes, Viv?
Do you know if or when crosswalks in town will be paid? And you don't have to answer tonight, but. It's the middle of July, the community events coming up and I'm saying the crosswalks get paid.
Just a contact person.
Call this good.
We will check.
Call European District.
Maybe.
Here in
It's a safe job. But no, you're the second person that's asked this week about it,
Oh, there you
and
go.
it was it's on my list of. Things to. Do. But I do believe somebody else from town. Why let it linger? But I do think there's somebody else in town that contacted them today.
Can anybody contact them to ask?
Absolutely, yeah.
Well,
They're coming off, everybody, go ahead. And more people call, it's really good then. Like, it's hard to get a phone call. Like,
so if we had an automated calling service, we could set it to call them every 15 minutes.
Crosswalks still aren't painted.
They painted a line the other day.
You'd think while they were there with the white paint, they could.
Like,
different contract. Crosswalk painters don't do line blind them.
That sounds like a union job.
No, motion to adjourn,
I will make a motion. Oh, was that the motion?
yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Don't leave, there's all these state gas.
You weren't my house, now, your fault.
So the ones that already have Mike's signature on them are the ones that one selectman could sign off on, so if you wanted to peek at, you could sign off. What do you take on there?
Great. Great hands down there.
Yes,
Kevin, or-
I don't,
Sure,
wait, I have no spray for that line, watch.
Thanks.
I didn't lose it.
Printer, right? You said the one with Mike's doesn't need signatures. So this,
Those are the ones that were,
What's
you
your
just
schedule?
want to, you can approve with signing off, if you want to sign it, you can, saying that you reviewed it, it's up to you.
I didn't have a pen on me when you guys were discussing the calendar changes next to my.
Thank you, guys.
One, what this one changes.
Thank you, Beck. I appreciate
the
it.
7th.
When there was a second change.
Oh, we
We
didn't
didn't-
change
we
that.
Yeah. Danny.
Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday evening. Those.
The law face is still on. Oh,
Available.
So this one.
Good night.
Third.